Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a January wrap up and a February TBR or to be read. Yeah, in January I read an astounding 9 books, which I know for a lot of people and most YouTubers isn't a lot, but for me I'm pretty proud of myself. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the wrap up portion first and then the TBR at the end. The first book we have to talk about is the ebook I finished like the first week of January, if not the first day of January, and that is A Discovery of Witches. Here. I think it's this side. Maybe it's this side. I don't know. Yes. Thoughts. I thought this book was pretty average for a fantasy. I had wanted to buy this trilogy, but I saw that the first one was on Libby, so I was like, let me read the first one before I go and buy a whole trilogy. And to sum it up briefly, I will not be rushing out to buy this trilogy. It was average. The writing was pretty average. The plot was sometimes interesting, but like towards the middle of the book, we kind of strayed away from the plot, which is actually when I enjoyed it more. When they were in France, I think. I actually liked that portion better. It did kind of end on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't good enough, and the cliffhanger wasn't enough to make me go out and like buy the next book right away. If the next books get put on Libby, I will read them, but I'm not going to rush out to try and find it, and I'm not going to buy them in physical copy. Yeah, the characters were pretty okay. I liked the romance. It's a vampire book. Why have I read a lot of vampire books recently? It's kind of scary. Anywho, it's a vampire book. It was pretty good. Well, not pretty good. It was average. Like a little bit better than average. So yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Oh, my last thought on this is that towards the end, things got really confusing, and one of my biggest pet peeves is when endings are really rushed and seemingly for no reason, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but it seemed really rushed, and like a lot of things happened at once, and it was hard to keep track of what was going on and to understand. And so like I found myself rereading things a lot, and yeah, I thought the last like 10% kind of fell off because I had really enjoyed the middle portion. Moving on. The next book I finished in January was Anna Karenina. If you watched my classics video, I pretty much said everything that I think about it in that video. I'll repeat it though for your personal enjoyment. This book was really long, over 900 pages, and if this book was half its length, it would have still been too long. There was way too much about farming and Russian politics and art and religion that went way over my head, and I did not understand. The writing was okay. Some of the Russian threw me for a loop, which I expected. But then again, like some of the sentences just didn't make sense to me. I actually started listening to a free audiobook of this on YouTube around 40% in, and oh my gosh, she read like at least 12 hours worth of this book to me while I puzzled, and that was the preferred method. And that wasn't even like a good quality audiobook. I mean, it was pretty good, but it wasn't like specially done, if you know what I'm saying. Thoughts. It was too long, too much conversation about stuff I didn't care. If it had only focused on the 2 main love stories, so Levin and Anna, I would have loved it. I really hated Anna by the end. I wish the last couple of chapters could have talked about what happened to some of the other characters like Vronsky a bit more. It was kind of implied, but we never really saw him again. Those are my thoughts. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is okay for a classic. Would I reread this? Probably not, unless someone forced me to, because look at how big. Will I keep this? Yes. And I did cry, so that means something. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you see holes behind me, I'm really sorry if it irritates you, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me make sure I'm on track. Okay, next 3 books I'm gonna group together and talk about. Are, is, was. Are they backwards for you? I don't know. The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. So Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. Am I really gonna hold these up the whole time? I might just set them here. These books. I reread, well, let me backtrack. I first read these, I think, in 8th grade. I am pretty sure I've read the first 2 twice prior to this reading, prior to this year. I read the first 2 twice and the last book only once. So it's been a long time since I've read these. And so I got Chain of Gold last month and I was like, I'm gonna read it in January because I was so excited. But in order to read Chain of Gold, I was like, let me reread The Infernal Devices, because if you don't know, Chain of Gold focuses on the children of the characters of these. So I thought it would be a good refresher. I really did not remember a lot. Yes, these rereads, I gave them all 5 stars. Let's start by saying that. I know I said in my favorites video that I thought that the Dark Artifices, so can you see them? Those, I don't know if you can see them. I thought those were her best. These are getting hard to hold. Let's go like that. Can you even see them? I don't know. That those were her best like series in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, but I changed my mind. I think these are her best. Are they my favorites? No. Mortal Instruments will always hold that spot just because my emotional and sentimental attachment. But these are her best. Every book was 5 stars. I cannot say that for the Dark Artifices or for the Mortal Instruments. Honestly, I can't say that. These were all 5 stars. I loved them. Brief summary. I now love Tessa and have a greater appreciation for her, which was true before I started rereading these, because through the years, as we've seen some cameos in other books, I've loved her. My love for her grew. My appreciation for her grew. I definitely had a stronger attachment to Will this time around. Love him. And this is the best love triangle ever written. It's not even really a triangle. Like, because they all love each other so much. It's just spectacular. And I love that Cassie did what she did and allowed us to have what she allowed us to have. I'm trying not to say anything. Angel was really good plot-wise and character-wise. The second one was mainly, like, the plot kind of deviated a little bit. Or I don't want to say there was no plot, because there was, but it was way more character-driven. So I appreciated that as a character-based reader. I really loved all the character development we got in this one, even if the plot wasn't the best. And then the third book wrapped everything up nicely in a cute little bow. The epilogue killed me. I sat on the couch on a Saturday morning and sobbed for like 2 hours, and my mom was overly concerned. Well, maybe it wasn't overly, maybe it was accurate, but she was concerned for me, and she was like, you've already read these. And I was like, I know, but I forgot about the epilogue, and it kicked me right in the gut. But overall, I love these. I'm so glad I reread them, and I will definitely reread them in the future because I love them so much, and I loved everybody. And that's my thoughts, because I could go on for 10 years about these. The next one is It Ends With Us. This is on my list of Colleen Hoovers, was on my list of Colleen Hoovers I have not read. And this, I think, is my mom's second favorite. It's one of her favorite books. I will just preface this by saying that I know Colleen Hoover is not the best writer. I recognize that. I've read better romances than the ones she's written. However, I will continue to read everything she publishes. So I read it. It was pretty good. Not my favorite. Kept me hanging. It is all about an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship. So if you have any trigger warnings, just be aware. As someone who has firsthand experience with toxic relationships and especially how that affects a marriage and a child, I thought she did a really good job. It is kind of an Own Voices novel, so she wrote it based off of her mother and her father's marriage, which if you read the author's note at the end will make more sense. And you can definitely see that shine through in her writing and in her storytelling. So I thought she dealt with it nicely. It is only one facet of abuse and toxic relationships, and I acknowledge that. It was pretty good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. And I feel like I should maybe drop that to a 4. I'm not sure. Let's keep it where it is. Problems with it. I don't know. I kind of felt disconnected from the characters a little bit. I did cry. But I think that comes with the stigmatism and the previous mindset that me and a lot of other people, and I will be the first to acknowledge that I have this mindset where you're reading someone in a toxic relationship and you're thinking, I wouldn't do that. I would do this differently. Why is she staying? What is she doing? Type of situation. And I will admit, those intrusive thoughts came in while I was reading this. But I think it's important to read books like this because you have to challenge yourself and put yourself in her position. I'm rambling because it's making me uncomfortable. But yeah, I did feel a little disconnected. But I think that was part of this stigmatism we all have as a society, and especially as women looking down on other women. But it was nice to be challenged and to reassess those thoughts. And by the end, I appreciated how she handled things. And it was a valuable book. I think it holds a lot of value. So, yeah, but not my favorite Colleen Hoover. Let's move on. Oh my God, I have a lot to talk about with this one. So the next book I read on Libby, and I had placed a hold on it, and I had been waiting for like 5 weeks. And I've seen this everywhere on TikTok and Instagram. So I read From Blood and Ash. Keep in mind, I'm reading these as I'm reading The Infernal Devices. So like, I didn't read all of these in a row. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing that in there. But From Blood and Ash, I have a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna start by saying when I first finished this book, I gave it a 5 stars. Then a couple hours later, I dropped it down to a 4.5. And then probably a week later, I dropped it down to a 4. It's another vampire book. She got me good. I didn't know it was vampires, but it is. And vampires, I think. I read vampires, but whatever. Yeah. This book, the writing is not my favorite. I've only read one other Jennifer L. Armentrout book, and her writing's not my favorite, and I think that's okay. I am entitled to my opinion. I know I'm not the only person who thinks that. If nothing else, these books are romance. Like the plot, I don't even know what's happening. I'm 70% through the second book, and I still could not tell you anything about this world. Like, I genuinely don't know what's happening. But the romance is really good. And these books are pretty spicy. And so I liked the romance so much when I first finished this book, I gave it a 5 stars. But then upon reflection and reading more reviews on Goodreads, I was like, it's not good. Like, it's good. And I'm happy with the 4 stars I gave it. But the writing isn't the best. The world building is lacking, in my opinion. Please don't come for me. The world building is lacking. And the main character, Poppy, kind of irritates me sometimes. But Hawk is something else, and I love him, and I love them together. The twists, or like the cliffhangers, I kind of saw coming, like from miles away. But that's okay. I am reading the second one. Will I buy the third one when it comes out? Yes. I don't know what else to say. Those are my thoughts. And I'm still kind of conflicted over them. And you'll have to wait and see what I think about the second one in my next wrap up. But anyway, let's move on because I'm going to talk about that book forever. The next book I read is Kingdom of the Wicked. This is another one. Another 4 stars. Because I don't know what to rate these. Another Enemies to Lovers. It started off strong, but like about 60% in, it kind of fell off for me. And it was the writing again. I thought the writing of this one was better than Jennifer L. Armentrout's in From Blood and Ash. In From Blood and Ash. Oh my god. I thought the writing was better comparatively, but it still wasn't the best. And it kind of fell off at the end. It got really confusing. I didn't really know what was happening. There were some inconsistencies, and like if it were a movie, I would say continuity department, get your crap together. So, but there were like a few inconsistencies with the timeline, and it was hard to know like if it was day or night at some points, and it kind of like, I don't know, a lot of it was confusing. But I thought the first like 60% was really good, and I was really into it. And I was going to give it a 4.5, but the last half just kind of killed it. I do wish we had gotten some more romance. I love a slow burn, but like not too slow. I need something. I need a crumb. You know what I'm saying? But I realize a lot of people like slow burns and to wait till multiple books. So I acknowledge that. Main character, I liked Amelia. I liked the mystery aspect of it and like the dark magic. I really liked the setting, set in Italy in like 1600s. That's so wrong, isn't it? No, I don't think so. I don't know. But like the imagery was really good. She's a cook, so like the cooking imagery was nice. I felt like I was in Italy. So that was really good. But all of that was towards the beginning. So I'm going to move on because, yes. Another thing, with these 4 stars, I'm giving them 4s because, like, in a few years, I feel like I'm going to remember From Blood and Ash, but, like, with A Discovery of Witches and Kingdom of the Wicked, like, I feel like in 6 months from now, I'm not going to be able to tell you a single thing about them. So that's kind of why I gave them 4s. They're not, I can already tell they're not going to be as memorable. Just talking about Kingdom of the Wicked, like, I can't remember. I read it 2 weeks ago. Last book on this wrap up, City of Thieves. I ordered this when I pre-ordered Chain of Iron from Barnes & Noble to get the free shipping. David, I don't know how to say that last name. David is one of the D&Ds who wrote Game of Thrones, D&D. He's one of the Ds. He wrote this way before Game of Thrones too, but I really loved this book. It's about, it's World War II, but it takes place in Russia. And I think this is the first World War II book out of all the many I've read that have taken place in Russia. And it's based off of the story of his grandfather. And which is interesting because some of the things in here are so ludicrous that it has to be real. Just a brief synopsis. I realize I haven't given like synopses for any of the other books, but so he's arrested, and to avoid execution or imprisonment, a captain tells the main character, Lev, and Kolya, another guy, that they have to go find 12 eggs, like chicken eggs, because he wants to make a cake for his daughter. Well, not him, but he needs a cake for his daughter. So they have to go get eggs in Leningrad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of this right, which is St. Petersburg, in the middle of a siege in the middle of World War II. So if that doesn't sound interesting, I don't know what will. My thoughts. I loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's going to be on my favorites list at the end of this year. I already know. It's so short. It did take me quite longer than I thought it would. He is really a good storyteller, and I think if you watch Game of Thrones, that's evident if we ignore the last couple of seasons. He is a really good storyteller, and he really did a good job telling his grandfather's story. I loved Lev and Kolya and their relationship. I especially loved Kolya. I loved seeing Lev go from this shy, awkward coward, I mean, he calls himself a coward, into someone who is brave, well, braver. And it shows how war, over even just like a week, can fundamentally change a person, especially one so young and impressionable. I liked the end. I liked how it wrapped up and how he connected it back to his grandfather. So yeah, I liked the character development. It was interesting being in Russia. Usually, most of the time, it's World War II books are set in France and or Poland and or Germany. This was the first Russia. I've said that a million times, Russian World War II book. And it was just a different perspective while kind of being the same. It's really good. You could tell it was written by a man, which at first I thought was a flaw. You could just tell it was written by a man, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And as the story went on, I slowly realized, well, this is how soldiers would act and do act. And so that kind of became a more positive thing, actually, because he did not romanticize it at all. Like, he gave you what you got. And so that was not good, but unique. And I think overall, I think he did a great job, and it was a really good book. And it's really short, and I think everyone would like it. Read it. So now to the February TBR portion of this video. So I think how I'm gonna do this is, it's like I tried to film this separately and it was way too short. I didn't have enough to talk about. My TBR lists are gonna be very loose, very subject to change. Really, it changes based on how I feel, what's available in the library on Libby. Really changes on how I feel, depends on how I feel and how fast I read books. With school starting back, I do not think I'm going to be able to get 9 books under my belt this month. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Just based on how long it took me to read City of Thieves during the first week of school, and that book was like 200 pages. It should not have taken me a week. But anyway, that is to say, these TBRs could look extremely different than the wrap-ups, like extremely different. But these are the like 9 or so books, 10 books that I want to get to in February, or have to get to. So let's start off with the books I'm already reading. Oh, no. Okay. Book I'm reading right now is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is the sequel to From Blood and Ash. I'm 70% in as of this morning, like 76%. And I can say I like this one better. Do I have any clue what's going on? No. She's tried to explain it to me, and it's like I'm reading Russian. Like my eyes just like see it, but I don't comprehend. And I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a writing thing. The writing has gotten better as time's gone on. Or I've just grown used to it, which may be the case. The romance is really good. I've enjoyed the character development of this book so far. Why am I talking about it like it's a wrap up? This is a TBR. Anyway, those are my thoughts right now. Yes, okay. Scooch. I started this Monday, and can I just say, I've waited months to read this book. I love V.E. Schwab. You can't see it, but I have a V.E. Schwab shelf up there. I love her. So I knew I would love this even before I knew anything about it or before all the hype. And so now I really love it. I'm like this much in, and I already know it's going to be a 5 stars. And I'm already envisioning the 7-star tattoo I want to get. Me and my friends are like co-reading this together. We have our like book club meeting tonight. I recommended it because I wanted to read it and I knew how good it was, and holy crap, it's good. Brief thoughts. The writing is truly some of the most magnificent writing I've ever read. Oh my god. And the story itself, this is how I described it to my friends. A girl trying to escape from what are those called? It's not set up. What are those called? Like a marriage where the parents are forcing her to be married to another guy that she doesn't love. What are those called? Anyway, a marriage she doesn't want. And so in order to escape, she sells her soul. She makes a deal with a demon to be free and to essentially be immortal in exchange for her soul at the end of her life. And of course there are some caveats nipped in there, and such as she can't say her name, she can't write her name, no one knows her name. As soon as a person leaves her sight, they forget who she is. Like I'm talking about go to sleep, they wake up, she's in the bed, they don't know who she is. Or like they shut a door and they open it, they don't know who she is. She can't leave any type of mark on the world, seemingly. So, until one day she meets someone who does remember her, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've just met who I think is the love interest, so I don't know yet. Yes, this is a good book. More thoughts to come in the wrap-up. I'm excited to be emotionally destroyed. I want to read Folk of the Air series / trilogy. Is it a series? I don't know. Trilogy. I need to reread this, so I'm gonna do that after Addie. Cruel Prince. I read this like 2 years ago now, so I'm a little rusty because I needed to wait for these two to be in paperback. And then I'm gonna read these for the first time, and I'm scared, but I'm also excited for some good old fashioned high fantasy fairy junk. Enemies to lovers, romance tropes. I'm excited. Also a little scared because I've heard mixed reviews about these two. And the last time I read Cruel Prince, I wasn't that impressed. I was impressed enough to buy the rest of the series though, so. I might do a full like spoiler-free, I'm not sure, it'd probably be spoilery review about this series. Okay, the next 2 books on this list, I'm going to read one or the other. I'm not going to read both of them. This is going to be like a little break between fantasies, okay? So these are the options as of right now. So we've got Coraline and Prom. I was gifted Coraline on my birthday by my friend. Coraline's my favorite movie, so I want to read it. That's it. Prom is the only Laurie Halse Anderson I haven't read, and it's short, which is why both these books are right here, because they're both short. which one will I read? I'm kind of leaning more towards Coraline because it's shorter. Next book is Trick Mirror. I love this cover. It's so cool on the spine. I like it. This is the January through March pick at the book club that just started at my university. So, and it's about, I mean, the little caption is Reflections on Self-Delusion. So I'm going to assume it's about self-delusion. And so, yeah, I'm excited. It says PEN America Literary Award finalist, winner of the Whiting Award, New York Times Book Review, 100 Notable Books of 2019. So it should be pretty good. I don't know when I'm going to read this. I'm not in the mood right now. But I'll hopefully read it at some point. 2 more. Let's insert the ebook that I want to read. And I realize, like, there's going to be more ebooks than the 2 I'm mentioning. I just don't know what I'm going to read from the library yet. So, okay. So, A Court of Silver Flames comes out the 16th. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm not going to, first of all, because the rest of the books are in paperback that I own. Second of all, I don't know if I'm going to like it because Nesta, our main character, I hate her. I am going to buy it the day it comes out, and I'm going to read it. This is like a spin-off continuation of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is arguably my favorite trilogy of all time. I hate Nesta, so I'm not excited about this book. I'm apprehensive. I don't know what the heck we're going to talk about for 800 pages. Sarah, what are you doing? Anyway, but like I'm kind of excited because I love the group of characters we have. Just not Nesta, which is the main character, but who cares, you know? I hope we get some good character development. I really don't know what the plot of this is going to be for 700 pages. Nobody has any idea. So, but yeah, I will be buying it on like the Kindle app or something. The last book I want to read in February, and I'm going to assume I will read like half in February, half in March. I was going to read this Son of a Gun, God, she's pretty, in January as soon as I got it after I finished rereading The Infernal Devices, but I was like, you know, Chain of Iron comes out the 2nd, so I'm gonna wait. So I'm just gonna read it right before or after Chain of Iron comes out, so it'll be fresh in my mind. I'm really excited about this. Of all the books on my list, this and Addie LaRue, but like this I've waited for like a year now, and I haven't really gotten spoiled, but I'm so excited because I loved being back in the Shadowhunter world during Infernal Devices, and I already know I'm gonna love this book. I'm so excited. It's really big though. Like, this is gonna take me a while. Oh, she uses thick paper, doesn't she? Actually, it's not that long. And I read Cassie's books like nobody's business, so yeah. I'm really excited to read this. Like, really excited. And again, I might make a spoilery review for this. I might make one for Addie too, but we'll see. I might combine this and my review for Chain of Iron together. I think that would be fun. Just have a little chat about it because I'm really excited. Anywho, that is this video. It's a very long video. I have to go and fix my bookshelves with all these holes and then do all my schoolwork so I can have more time to read Addie this afternoon and eat lunch, but that's not important. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope none of my opinions offended you about the books I read, my thoughts. If they did, I'm sorry. I don't know when this is coming out or when the next one's coming out because I'm going back to campus next week. We'll see. Yeah, and I'm kind of busy right now, but I really enjoyed filming this. It's my first TBR and wrap up, so Hope you guys enjoyed it too. I hope to see you next time. Let me know if you're interested in any of the reviews I mentioned and whether or not they should be spoilery or spoiler free. I'm thinking spoilery because it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut and to actually tell you my thoughts without being 100% truthful. So or forthcoming is a better word. But yeah, here come the guns. Thank you for watching. I've never said like and subscribe, I don't think, but like /subscribe, maybe. Leave a comment, I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Maybe, possibly. Love you guys. Peace out. Goodbye. End the video.